Make sure you like and subscribe and keep up to date on the notification bell for all your Las Vegas material.
And all that good stuff. Yes, don't forget. Add us up, guys, definitely.
It's kind of funny because obviously the like and subscribe thing, we say, don't we? It's always a bit of a cliche, but we do appreciate it, guys. And, you know, you're here for Vegas content. You'll either subscribe or you won't. We're not going to give you stats or anything like that.
You know that's, because a lot of podcasts, it does get a bit draining, doesn't it? How
Exactly.
like people try and get you to subscribe. But look, if you can do, we'd really appreciate it.
And a nice little thing for you guys that we didn't mention on our previous 2 episodes. So for podcast listeners only,
Yeah.
That's a good way to start off, isn't it?
Yeah.
For podcast listeners only, we've got a 10% discount for you. So if you use the code VegasPod10 for your next VIP Vegas packages with VIP Vegas UK, then nice little 10%. We'll leave it in the comments in the description. But if you want a nice little discount for you being a podcast listener, 10% is 10%, right?
10% is 10%. That's exactly it, Brunty. So yeah, bear that in mind, guys. Vegas 10. If you're watching a podcast and you're coming to Vegas, give us a shout, put it in your inquiry form, and then we'll make that deduction for you. Also, as well for subscribers, did we want to get this involved?
Yeah, we may as well mention that. So what me and Steve basically have come up with, as you can see, our setup's a little bit different with this episode. Yeah. So we're going to get you guys. If you know anything about roulette, there's numbers from 0 to 36. So obviously it's 37 numbers. Mm-hmm. We're going to put the chip stacks on the number that we also are going to put a bit of a bet on.
Yep.
How much money did we say we're going to give each other? We're going to
give our bet throughout the episode is going to be $500 between us, right? Hence why we got these stacks here.
Big boy money.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. But for the listeners, if you can comment a number from 1 to 36, obviously if someone else has put a certain number in, don't use the same number as them. But every week we're going to go through and basically we're going to spin the roulette wheel. Whichever number it lands on, we'll look through the comments and then give a prize to that person who chose the right number.
It's going to be sick.
That's how we're going to do it, basically. So yeah, that's just a way of getting you guys involved as well. Choose a number from 1 to 36 and you're going to win. Points mean prizes, doesn't it? Numbers mean prizes.
Numbers mean prizes.
So yeah, that's just a little site to get you guys involved. But yeah, how are we looking for today's podcast then, Brunty?
Well, I thought, first of all, it's just literally been the weekend gone for us on shooting this episode of Super Bowl weekend.
Oh yeah, Super Bowl weekend, big game weekend, as they like to call it.
I don't know who you support or if you even follow NFL, but obviously Eagles won this Super Bowl round, and me liking a little bit of Philadelphia and Rocky and that sort of stuff. It was just like my team, and obviously the Raiders came along, so I've kind of had to. But yeah,
did you stay up for it then? Did you?
I watched a bit of it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's a late one, isn't it?
It's such a late one.
Yeah,
but that's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. Is basically sports in Vegas, because it's now become such a huge city for everything. They're always changing. That sports is now a massive part of it. So that's
so we're going to talk about sports, but we're also going to throw some Vegas stories in as well, news and trends, like just to keep things a little bit, interesting and change it up a bit. But yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. For the time being, then, Brunty, what should we? As far as sports go, where would you watch the sports if you was in Vegas?
Yeah, so obviously, it depends on what it is you're looking for, but sports books are always an amazing place to start off with. Yeah. I mean, there's good ones and bad ones personally. You don't want to name too many names, but there's a few casinos I'd say, like for example, New York's quite a small sports book. Mm-hmm. Not saying that it's bad, but just saying that it's just quite a small sports book. Whereas if you go to somewhere like Caesar's Palace, it's got a huge area that, tens of screens that you can have. There's a bar behind it. Bellagio's got a big one. Yeah, just for context and for the viewers, what is a sports book? As in, how do we define that? Okay, so a sports book is effectively, because it's a whole big casino within those hotels. Yeah. It's somewhere that you can watch the sports and you can place a bet on. So as you would go like in the UK to a bar and you'd go and spend money on a beer to go then watch the football and they have it all up there. Mm-hmm. At a sports book, it's showing multiple different sports, games, things like that. And you can then go and get a bet placed on it. So it's
not that we're an advocate for betting and gambling, by the way, guys. But yeah, that's where you can go if you wanted to watch the sports and stuff. So yeah,
but yeah, that's always like a good start off point. Other than that, then there's great sports bars. There's beer park. I absolutely love.
I was going to say about beer park. I really love that because of its position on the strip as well, where it's like opposite the Bellagio, and you can sit on that little balcony bit, and it's just a breathtaking views. Yeah, of the fountains and stuff, and they've got. I don't know how many different screens they've got and how many different sports they show, but also the amount of pumps for a beer. Like, it's just ridiculous, bro. It's mental. Do you ever, like, as well, I was going to ask you this, like, if you've been to the beer park, which you're saying, like, do you ever get them floats where if you can't decide what beer you want, you can literally have a float of about 4 or 5 different beers on, which give you like a half pint of each one?
Yeah, in fact, I've not actually checked out the Brewdog place, but that's a new one.
That's another one. Yeah.
That I wanted to go visit when we go this year. But
Brewdog
they do that as well.
Yeah, they and like, to be fair to Brewdog, they've got a shitload of pumps as well behind their bar, and they've also got a terrace upstairs. But the only downside to Brewdog is it's a little bit further down towards MGM and stuff like that, which is a bit down the other end. Whereas Beer Park's pretty central.
That kind of can give you a bit of a different strip view though, because everything centre strip is beautiful.
Yeah.
So sometimes I like going down the MGM end. Do you know what I mean? I like going to Hard Rock Cafe and
absolutely,
the balcony,
of course.
Do you know what I mean?
It changes it up a bit.
It's just it's a bit different and stuff. But yeah, another place that might not be, if you're not much of a drinker and not much of a gambler, one place I really like to go to watch sports is Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay. Yes. I didn't even really know they showed much in there.
Yeah. Oh, they've got loads of TV screens in there and different games. And this is why we're sort of covering sports today, because there's just so much of it going in with the Allegiant Stadium now is obviously for the NFL. You've got the new, is it the Saints A's? Sorry, Major League
Oakland A's.
Sorry.
I think that's being launched this year as well.
Yeah, where Tropicana got demolished.
Yeah. I know they're currently building it at the moment, so that should be ready anytime soon.
So this will mean you've got your NFL, you've got your baseball, you've now got the F1 that has done already 2 races along the strip. They're just going to continue to keep bringing sports, I think, in. And it's obviously had a history with boxing and UFC, MMA, those sorts of things. But I think, the more and more that people keep flocking there for everything Vegas-wise, sports is just going to become an even bigger part of the city. Yeah,
I think it's very true, because I remember when I first started going to Vegas, sort of like 10 years ago, there wasn't that much in a sense of sports. There was sports there, don't get me wrong, but it was a case of like events, like ad hoc events here and there popping up, like the boxing and the UFC. But now you've got the Raiders Stadium, which has been built, obviously the A's, there's basketball teams coming in. Like, it's crazy. It's actually turning into like the epicenter of sport in the United States.
It's the entertainment
capital of the world. Yeah, but I mean, for sports especially as well, it's definitely moving in the right direction.
I mean, touching on that, I thought we'd also move into the actual sport that we know, being Brits as we are as football.
Yeah.
We're not going to call it soccer for all of you Americans out there.
We're going to stay football, we'll keep with that one. But yeah, you know, that's a good point, Brunty, because a lot of our clients, when they touch down, especially if there's Premier League matches going on or there's, football happening, that's always a big question. Like, where can we watch it? Where's best to watch the football and stuff? And what I would say is, obviously, you like we brushed on, you've got your beer parks and you've got your sports books and stuff like that on the strip. But the one that I seem to like going to the most is the Crown and Anchor, which is just off the strip. Yeah, okay. It's probably, I don't know, 5-10 minutes depending on traffic, just off the strip, sort of like towards the airport way. And man, you as soon as you walk in, you feel like you've walked into a pub in London.
Oh, that's sick.
It's class.
This is what I mean. There's still things I've not done.
Yeah, honestly, mate. Because and obviously they show all the British football, but they also show all the boxing and stuff as well. So I watched. Actually, do you know what? I watched the Anthony Joshua Klitschko fight in there.
No way.
And mate, honestly, it was going off. It was so sick. It was like, and then just opposite Crown and Anchor, you've got a string of shops there. You've got a nice pizza parlor. You've got a few like other restaurants. Oh. So it's a change from the strip.
Yeah.
And because it's off the strip, the pricing reflects that. So you can get decent deals there. And I think a pint's probably like $6, maybe actually probably $10 now because
I was gonna say
the amount of time that's gone on. Yeah. So don't hold me to that, guys. Yeah. But yeah, the Crown and Anchor, nice little plug there. British pub in Vegas. Definitely go and check that one out.
You'll have to take me there in May. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll go there in May, 100%. Yeah. We actually might even set up the pod in there and we'll do one.
Yeah, we're hoping to get something like that in the works. But yeah, stay tuned and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that also the Americans, I don't know if you've noticed this when I've gone out there, they are super honed in on especially Premier League football.
Yeah.
There were times when I used to be such a big football fan and I'd go to the States and I'd start talking to them and they'd go, "Oh, you're a so-and-so supporter." And they'd say, "Did you know about this? And they're signing this contract." And I'm like,
yeah, I know. It's crazy.
I haven't seen that pop up on my feed. They're just on it.
Yeah, big shout out to all the Americans that are homing in on football/soccer at the moment because they're going crazy for it, bro.
Yeah.
But another thing that we did when I lived off the strip, like I mentioned in previous episodes, I used to go and play football out there and it's moved on a lot now, but then it was like co-ed. So it was like male and female. I think that's the right term for it. I'm not sure.
Like
yeah. But anyway, we used to go and play and we'd be playing against girls as well. So there'll be girls and guys playing together, which is not really a thing in the UK. And obviously, you have to be a little bit careful when you're bumping into
I was
girls.
gonna say.
It's like, but then I think now that it's moved on a little bit more. And then a few years passed and then we started playing like indoor football, 5, 6, 7 aside.
Wow.
But yeah, it was mad actually playing out there.
Okay.
Compared to playing here, because obviously the standard, but again, the standards come on, leaps and bounds as well. So
this was right in the beginning part.
Yeah, I would say this is probably about 8 years ago. And then now when I see people playing, it's like, they've taken it a lot more serious, which I didn't think would happen, but it seems to be going that way. And the World Cup going to be in United States?
If it is, then that's
I think
news to me.
I think it's the next one. I think it is the next one. We'll have to look into that, but I'm sure the World Cup is coming out in America. Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool. In fact, I was going to ask you. Sorry to go a little bit off subject from sports, but I don't know if I've even asked you this question. Why did you set up VIP Vegas UK? Because you said you've been living out there and stuff like that, and obviously I know you personally and know a little bit of the story, but. If you could touch on that, I thought that'd be quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things, like I've said in previous episodes, as soon as I got to Vegas and I was taken back by all the sort of glitz and the glamour and the big venues and stuff like that, I knew I wanted to operate there, but I didn't know in what capacity because, I was doing events in the UK and then I was thinking, is it going to be possible to bring my brands and, events to a place as big as Las Vegas. So I was always looking around for opportunity. And then, I looked at the demographic, I looked at the groups from the UK coming over and I looked at the service they were getting provided with in the concierge game, as in like planning the trips and itineraries for people. The general feedback was it was a very grey area especially with pricing and getting into the venues and like, how can you secure this location in this venue and that place in that venue? So, I heard a lot of stories and there was a few horror stories, where hosts in Vegas were taking people's money and there was a lot of shady stuff going on and they were inflating pricing and, it was very much a grey area. So in answer to your question, the VIP Vegas is set up to sort of like give confidence to travelers. Cause I think at that time there wasn't much confidence in big groups, especially guys traveling to Vegas and getting a good price and being, getting given the location that they'd said they'd been booked from the UK. So it was set up to sort of like give confidence to people that are coming over. Yeah. And obviously being from the UK, people familiarise with other people from the UK and other businesses, whatever. So yeah, it was like that really, just to give people confidence and trust that what they've booked, we're going to deliver on.
Yeah, I imagine it helps with the sort of information that people are receiving. They could have no fact check.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas now there's just so much information out there. Like I said, you've got all these Vegas influencers and you've got all these concierge companies that, you know, that if you were going to go out there a couple of years ago, you had no way of telling if you were giving a good price or if something went wrong, who do you contact?
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? But it's really good that you seeked that opportunity and have found a way to help people. You know, saw the gap and saw the problem and wanted to fix it.
And that was the problem. It was all very much up in the air and no one really knew what was good, what was bad, like this and the other. So now I think like what you were saying there, Brunt, is true. There's so much online now. But when we first started, or when I first started out, there was literally nothing online. So there was nothing to compare anything to. So it was a very grey area when booking stuff.
What I was thinking.
So, but now it's almost as if there's too much online. So people's brains get bamboozled with so much on these different websites and these blogs and stuff like that they read up on, and it's almost a bit too much to take in. Yeah. So you slightly information overload now.
It does feel like
a little bit. So and that obviously works wonders for us as well. Coming back to like, you know, giving people honest quotes and, you know, delivering upon that. And we pretty much make it very simple to understand when we send our quotes out as well. Like, these are the best places to go. Here's a few options. Depending on the client, obviously we can send you entry level options, or we can send you like middle of the range options, or, you know, if you got a bit more of a budget, we can send you the top end options. But we don't just send out, you know, blanket loads of information. We try and help you out in a sense of, you know, 1 or 2 options for each day or night, and 1 or 2 pricing options as well for your VIP tables and, you know, activities.
I love it, mate. To link that into sports, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Could you touch on, because I love, you know, watching the F1 and things like that out there, and you do a whole like package thing for F1 specifically. So we touched on, like I said, some places where you can watch the sports if you want to watch football, if you want to watch NFL, basketball, whatever, or boxing. Obviously they have the arenas and sports bars, but Formula One specifically, they had a whole thing where you wasn't allowed to just stand and watch it on the bridge with your phone or whatever. And, you know,
with the F1, like not last year, but the year before when it was just starting, it was pandemonium. Like, people were gridlocked. Like,
a lot of one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so. And I knew that as well. I knew that would happen, because it's like anything you set up, or, you know, anything you start, there's always going to be teething problems. There's always going to be hurdles you've got to overcome. And I feel like that that first year was crazy, because there was a lot of complaints coming in from the locals in Vegas. Yeah. And you know, people were a lot of businesses were suffering because people couldn't get to their business. So their revenues went down. But yeah, I mean, over time, I think a lot of those local businesses, they've set up deals with F1 to, you know, counteract the loss of earnings that they're losing because of the F1. But I mean, with the packages that we offer for Formula One, like, we started off mainly doing the packages for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in November, December each year, which is like the final of the Formula One. So we started doing paddock passes just for that. And then obviously, now that the Vegas Grand Prix is coming, we started offering packages for that. But year on year, Brunty, it changes slightly, like from what we can offer and what can we do. Maybe that paddock's better, or that team deal's better than another one. So it just depends really. But we always seem to have some sort of packages available for clients as well.
Okay. Are you able to give a little bit of a price range, or are we not allowed to say that?
Yeah, no, we can give a price range.
Just look at a spectrum.
It's a good question. Generally, for that sort of stuff, it ranges from around about $2,500 all the way up to sort of like $15,000-$20,000, depending on the type of lanyard you and ticket you're looking for, really.
I was thinking, I imagine it was around that sort of price. It's Formula One, right? And then it's Vegas, but yeah, it's good that you supply that as well.
Yeah, it's good. That. I mean, like as you know, like it's not the sort of main focus of the business. The main focus is the pool parties, the nightclubs, gun ranges, helicopter tours, stuff like that. But then when these big events do come into town, we try and facilitate, you know, help our clients with sourcing tickets and and passes for that as well.
Touching a little bit on that, as it's just made me think of, because these events can be so big, so busy, and even if there's no event going on like F1, you're out in Vegas with your friends, you're drinking, you know, that you're doing VIP Vegas experiences. There's big money sort of that people are doing things with, and when it comes down to the other side of Vegas that people might not necessarily know or it's touched on, like some of the scams and this, that, and the other that comes in. I was wondering if you could just sort of give a bit of a warning to people. I mean, the one for me is just be wary of when it's in the daytime anyway, is all the big sort of Spider-Man and your, you know, Incredible Hulks and your Batman or whatever and the showgirls, that they'll want you to take a picture, and you can take a picture, but you might have have to pay a big tip for
to be honest, buddy, that sort of stuff is like the least of your worries, really, because I mean, you're right, like you can sort of take a picture, and sometimes if you're taking videos of these people on the strip, they are going to expect you to give them a tip, otherwise they start like I had quite a good example of this one.
Here we go, it's the first story of this episode.
We'll get into a few stories, but yeah, I had this guy, he was dressed up as Elvis, but he was in like one of the mobility scooters. so I might even be able to find the footage. So he was in a mobility scooter, and I was filming him because he was cracking me up. Like he had all the Elvis tunes on in the background. It must have been like 50-degree heat, and he's got the full clubber on, and he's just like rolling down the Vegas Strip. So I'm filming him, and he's like, "Don't film, motherfucker!" Like started like fucking.
Thank you very much.
He started going like, to mess up the video. But he's a class man. But then that's what I'm saying. A lot of them do that. So just be, I mean, it's nothing, you know, major. But with some of the other stuff on the strip you got to watch out for is a lot of the girls, and it's been publicized as well. These girl gangs that go around and they try and, you know, put things in people's drinks and spike you and take this, and you know, you got to be very careful.
In fact, is there any like scams from the sports perspective? Like promoters are on the strip promoting the clubs, and you got these people that try and sell you timeshares. You got to be in a 6-hour timeshare, and then you'll get your free tickets and a coupon to something. But I don't know if my missus done that.
Did you do that? Have you done that at all?
No, I was too wide. I'm a Vegas guy. Like how, do you know what I mean? So whenever like I said, same with like the taking the pictures with some of these characters in the daytime and all the sort of street performers at Fremont Street. And, you know, I just sort of knew some of the ins and outs and being like, I'm not going to come and approach that. Plus, when we're around London, you know not to touch the CD, because as soon as you grabbed it, that's it. Like,
you don't. Over. I tell you what, you done well there, 'cause me and my missus ended up getting roped into that. We spent probably about 2-3 hours there to give it to them though, right? To give it to them, they did give us quite a lot of stuff, like as in vouchers for this, vouchers for that, get a big free drinks here, like go there for that, free food, free dinner, like so. But in all honesty, it wasn't really worth 3 hours of my time,
especially when you're out in Vegas and it's your holiday and you want to spend that time.
No, we was pretty much living there that time anyway.
I know, but like for the audience, if you're there on your holiday, you do not want to spend 3 hours or 6 hours.
You don't want to be spending that amount of time
for a
timeshare.
Like you said, you might get some big rewards, show tickets, this, that, and the other. But like I say, if you do a bit of online research before you go and you know, come to people like us, then you get to skip all of that and you get to utilize the time out there.
So definitely stay clear of the timeshare stuff unless you obviously want to get involved in a timeshare. Like if it's something that you feel might be of interest, then there's loads of different, you know, places you can go to, and there is, you know, benefits from sitting there and listening to them, because they will give you vouchers for this and vouchers for that. But if it's more like you're going to be a bit strapped for time, don't think you're going to be in there for half hour to an hour. You're going to be in there for at least 3 hours.
I've heard it.
So long. And then, but now coming back to your thing about the sports, I think with sports and tickets and that and scams or whatever, like you've got to be a bit wary always of people directly outside of stadiums and outside ticket like places. Because it's just like anywhere in the world though. It's not like Vegas or like London. It's anywhere in the world that you can be, you know, you can fall victim of a scam or ticket scam or whatever. So you just got to be wary really when you're doing that. And if the price you feel like it's too good to be true, then it generally probably is. So if someone says, "Oh, you can have a ticket to this Raiders game for $100," it's like, you know what I mean? You got to sort of weigh it up and think whether that's going to be real or not.
I've just also thought, because I have a bit of a story from watching one of these NFL games.
Yeah.
It was in Caesars, actually. Just thinking about time, we were talking about timeshares and stuff, and I was thinking, well, NFL games are quite long.
Yeah.
So I went to Vegas, I think it was 2015, and we decided, because the friends that I was with at the time really loved their NFL. So we sat there to watch it, and about 2 hours in, and I'm like, this is, if I was watching one of the Arsenal games or something like that, like this would be done. But we were still sort of sat there, and I'm like, this is just long.
I've not got I know
time utilization.
Yeah, obviously rugby in the UK is the only thing you can really compare it to.
Yeah,
but I've never really been a big fan of rugby, so it's very hard for me to get excited like a lot of my American friends do for American football. That might change with time, who knows, but at the moment it's like, it doesn't appeal to me.
I will say something nice about it though, that I think it was either The Link or Harrah's, where we went and watched another like segment of one of the games. They had all these different TV screens up of all the different NFL games.
Yeah.
So you'd have one guy in a Raiders jersey, another one is in a Eagles jersey, and so on and so forth. And they're all watching their own game, but also watching their friend's game.
Yeah.
And they were all super friendly, being like, oh, he should have done that tackle, he should have done that pass, and he got so close to the yard line or whatever.
Yeah.
All completely civil. If you tried to do that over here in the UK and you just had a Spurs guy and an Arsenal guy and a Man U and a whatever.
Kicking off every 5 minutes.
Bro. So I was just, when I observed that, and I thought that's quite like just a nice thing that just as a country as a whole, they're like, we don't care what football games are, and like they just, you know what I mean?
They are very passionate about it though. Like if you meet, like the Chiefs, I think won last year, just the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs, wasn't it? And
was that the one when it was in Vegas?
Yeah, that was in Vegas last year.
Super Bowl 50 or 51?
Yeah, that was in Vegas last year. That was like, I mean, we had a lot of reservations coming through for that weekend.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, Kansas City Chiefs, their fans were just on a whole next level. From what, like, when I say whole next level, they pretty much took over the whole strip. So
Vegas took over. Was it like New Year's Eve, where there's the whole strip?
Yeah, like, it wasn't as bad as New Year's Eve, but it was carnage. So
I could imagine, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, mate, the sports. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Oakland A's. I want to go and I want to see that when it all opens. I'm definitely gonna have to go down. We'll have to go, bro. Actually,
yeah. I was just
check that out.
The only other thing before I quickly touch up on our news of the week was just to say about, with the whole boxing and UFC thing in Vegas. I don't know. To me, maybe it just seems like it's dialed down a lot.
I think it's dialed down maybe because of the Saudi Arabia, like the UAE and stuff. They're tapping into that market. Not so much UFC, but the boxing game. They're pretty much. Not to say that they're not trying to hold stuff in Vegas as well, because they are. I think that what's his name, Turkey Al Sheikh, Turkey something. Sure. But either way, he's the guy that's behind the boxing in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
and he's looking to do a few events in Vegas as well.
I imagine it's a capacity thing as well, because I think MGM Grand holds 45,000, if I'm not
something
mistaken.
Around that number. Yeah.
And over here when we've had the boxing in the UK, Wembley holds 90, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a big jump. Do you know what I mean? That if they do have two big fighters out there that are putting on a show, you want all that capacity. Obviously, some people won't be able to afford or buy the tickets, and they'll just watch it in the sports bars, like I said before. But
you've obviously got the T-Mobile Arena. A lot of the stuff happens at T-Mobile Arena, and a lot of the stuff, like the big events, obviously at the Allegiant Stadium. So, and then maybe now with the A's coming into town and the baseball stadium, a lot of stuff will probably be happening there, because obviously you're not playing baseball games every day of the week. So there's always scope for bigger events to be held there.
I've also heard, I don't know if someone can probably correct me if I'm wrong, if they have hockey over in Vegas and basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is, that's generally at the T-Mobile Arena, I believe. Yeah. The Golden Knights is the hockey team. In
it sort of just clicked in my brain. I was like, I swear I was over in Park MGM.
Yeah,
everyone was in.
Yeah, so that's another thing that's crazy. Like the ice hockey, they did really well actually. I've not been following it, but I think they either won it last year or the year before. Not obviously, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But they got to the final or something. So it's really come on, and that's the Golden Knights has only been around for probably like 5 or 6 years or something like that. So yeah, it's class. Cool. Exciting times, Brunty. Exciting times, especially if you're a sports fan. It's exciting times.
So the city's always changing, and it's a good thing that they're embracing sport and they're bringing that into the city. I mean, just to touch a little bit on the fact that Vegas has always been known for its casinos and gambling and things like that. But the city was smart. They just knew that they needed to change it up a bit. Do you know what I mean? So they super went in heavy with the restaurants. With all the celebrity chefs. They had all the amazing bars, all the nightclubs, obviously the events that we do. All the entertainment that they have out there, the residencies that we were speaking about a couple of episodes ago. And now they're just going in heavy on the sports. So you've got all these things, plus with all the little activities that you can do with like your Top Golfs or with your gun ranges and things like that, that just a whole city of entertainment that is just, there's something for everyone, basically. I just love that.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's one of those things where it's a clever thing to do is to try and cover all angles. And with the sports thing, it sort of covers the fact of the gambling is sort of being put elsewhere now as well. Like you've got the Macau, but you've also got the gambling license, which I've mentioned before in other episodes, that gambling, now that the UAE have got a license there and the winner opening over there as well, we could see a massive shift with gambling from Vegas to those sort of places and further afield. But if you've got big sports stadiums in Vegas, that is still the draw. So you've got, if you're a big ice hockey fan, or you're a big American football fan, or you're a big baseball fan, like you've got something to go into town for. So yeah, I think it's quite clever of the hotel and, you know, the people behind, you know, that run all that sort of stuff and you know, shape the way the city's going.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, man. So it's all good.
So, news of the week. I don't know if we call it news of the week, but I just call it news of the week.
I want to get into the stories, Brunty, man.
100%. We'll get into
stories
that
are the best thing. I think that's what most people want to listen to. They want to hear the juicy stories of people that like the hangover stories. You know what I mean? People want to hear about faces getting tattooed and teeth getting pulled out. Teeth getting pulled out. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Before I keep skipping these news. There's only a couple of subjects I wanted to top on anyway. But I was saying to my missus, I was like, I really do have a crazy hangover story.
No,
and I don't know when or where or how to
this
drop
is when
it
Brunty
in.
said he's got a massive Vegas sign tattooed on his back or something like that. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me with you, bro, because you're just that much of a fanatic, like, of the place.
But yeah, touching on the F1, I know that there was a whole thing that they were getting some sort of feedback on, saying that there's not a lot to do because it's so gridlocked in terms of crowds between the races, not on race day or whatever.
Yeah.
So they've now decided to do similar to how they do in like in Silverstone and other areas where they'll have simulator racing and stuff like that and loads of other little activities. They're going to start doing that now in Vegas, which I thought was quite cool.
Yeah, I mean, they generally have all that stuff in the paddock anyway, but that's more if you've got those sort of tickets. But now it sounds like they're going to do it more further afield. So general like sort of admission and
another little
in there, which I'm surprised because I went to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix a couple of months ago. So I tried to go to the final every year. And usually I was in the paddock, but this time we just went because we was part of, we was there for some campaign or whatever, like a marketing thing. So we just went general admission, but I was loving it. Like the actual area, man, there's so much going on.
I'm saying,
like,
there's so much to do.
Yeah, and like you're saying about these simulators and that, like they had all simulators in there. They had different thing. They had loads of like food stalls and that. And it's coming. So if they do something similar in Vegas to that, I think people will be pleasantly surprised.
Feels more like a festival, doesn't it? Like, so you got all the food vans and some entertainment and this, that, and the other, and obviously they'll have like a live act on as well for music. But so that's cool. The next thing was there's like a new bar open called Netflix Bites in MGM Grand.
Okay.
So it's got all these little different shows, obviously, that have all been Netflix funded, like your Stranger Things and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
So it's all like a themed place, which I thought was quite cool.
I see. Yeah, when you said Netflix Bites, I thought you meant what? They started getting into food now. Like, is that like fucking,
I'm sure they sell food as well.
Yeah, is it like a Netflix restaurant or something? But yeah, that sounds pretty cool. We'll have to check that one out.
And the last one, which shout out to my missus. She literally sent this to me about an hour ago.
Okay.
Is that Backstreet Boys are going to be in the Sphere in July.
Backstreet's back. All right. Yeah. Oh, they're actually in the Sphere, are they? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mate,
the
I'm
Sphere.
surprised they're still going. But
I know.
I suppose it's one of those things. If you can make money from the brand and you're still able to do what you got to do, then why not?
Like I said a couple episodes ago, if you have your residency in one location and everyone just flocks to you,
Yeah.
money,
Of
right?
course.
So
I mean, the Rolling Stones, how long they been going for? Do you know what I'm saying?
long before my time, brother.
So yeah, that'd be a good one. Backstreet Boys.
Right, I have
Probably because they're all skint now, isn't it? They need to go back on tour.
another nice little segment I wanted to put in the podcast as well, and obviously we've spoken about this before with some rapid fire questions.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, you want to go with that?
So what? Do you want me to ask you or you ask me to start off with?
I guess we can just go back and forth. It depends if you grab your notes or
Right,
go
quick.
through. But
How are we doing for time, Brunty? Hold on.
our
Right.
timer has disappeared.
Oh no.
No longer visible. That's fine.
Well, we'd have to try and play it by ear then, or
That's it.
play it by eye somehow. Right. So what? So we just doing this list, yeah?
Yeah, bro. I'm just intrigued.
Yeah, it's not anything like, it's not a right or wrong answer, is there? It's
Not
just
really,
more
just
like,
preference.
what would you prefer? So, all right, if you're in the casino, red or black?
Red. Always
You
red.
go red. Is there a reason for that, or?
I don't know why. I just feel like red is just one of those. You know when you've seen the numbers listed?
Yeah,
and I'm just
yeah.
like, just red. At some point it's going to hit red.
All right, fair play.
That's just a preference.
Do you want to spin the wheel, see if we get a red?
Should we see?
We've
Should we have
answered
a little
that. Go
test?
on, let's go for it quickly, man. Let's spice things up a little bit because we've been rambling for a while. So let's see if you get a red. So let's say
camera will pick that up, but that's 25,000.
25,000 on red. Spin the wheel, Brunty. Let's see if the camera can pick this up.
Oh, the little ball's gone. But yeah, this is just a cool little segment.
Just to change it up, I suppose, isn't it? Just to change it up. But we're going to try it out. It'd be good to get some feedback from you guys. Is Brunty a winner? He's gone for red. 3, 2, 1.
Woo! Oh,
I jumped out.
it literally said 21 and now it's on 4 black.
Do you know what? It happens,
Money
right?
gone,
So you would have been a
money
loss
gone.
there, right? While we're on the
25G's down.
while we're on the gambling and stuff, what would you, if you had 15? Actually, no. If you had a 12 come out on blackjack, I know it depends on what the dealer's got. Let's say, for example, they've got you can only see one card, can't you?
No, you'd get to. This is a great rapid fire. And this is why I put it in there. But yeah,
It's meant to be rapid fire.
I was gonna say, this is a
All
great
right,
rapid fire. Yeah, just
are
go
you
straight
going
in.
for it on 13 or not? If their first card that comes out is an 8,
yes.
and you're going to go for it. I
Yeah.
think the book says to go for
I was gonna
that
say,
because you've
basic
got to
strategy.
assume
Yeah.
that they've got a 10, so they
Yeah.
would have 18. So you sort of have to on that.
Yeah.
But again, it's you try to go with what the book says majority wise.
Yeah.
Day club or night club?
Day club.
I think you said that in the last pod, didn't you? About
club.
day club. Yeah, it depends for me, it depends what mood I'm in. Do you want to?
I was going to say, I'm going to be hitting you back.
Go on, go for it.
Right. MGM or Caesars?
To stay or to party? Caesars.
Caesars.
To
Fair
stay,
enough.
yeah. I think MGM probably to party because actually no, because Omnia's in Caesars. But then
This is what I mean, it's
it hasn't got a
difficult,
pool
isn't it?
party there. Whereas MGM's now got the new Palm Tree, which used to be Wet Republic.
Yeah, I
as
saw a
pool
new
party,
promo the other
and it's
day.
got Hakkasan. So yeah, all right. I'll say if I was to stay, Caesars. If I was to party, MGM.
See, for me, it's more the other way around. I like staying in MGM because they have like a little bit more of a custom to UK customers with the app and stuff. But
fair.
whole other episode.
You prefer roughing it then? Nah, you can get some good sweets there. Right, go on and go for it. Especially them Skylofts. Have you checked out the Skylofts?
Yeah, in
Really
MGM.
good. That's
It's
where
beautiful.
Tyson Fury stayed a few times in the Skylofts.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I've had a few clients stay there as well. Shout out to Hyperfen, looked after him on his stag do.
Nice.
And that was, Jermaine Beckford plays for Leeds. Shout out Jermaine as well. That's and Marcy Phonics and all those guys. We looked after them in the Skylofts. That was a really crazy weekend. But we'll talk about that another time.
So yeah, strip or Fremont/downtown? Just in general.
In general, strip.
Yeah. Okay. Limo or party bus?
I like the party bus.
I've never tried the party bus. I love the limo, the vibe.
Party buses are class because limos are a little bit sort of like we have to cramp down a bit. I know I'm not the tallest. I'm sort of like 6 foot, but still you have to cramp down a bit. And with the party buses, a lot of time you've got the poles in there, and you can get
We're about to ask you one more, and then you can do the last two. Okay, and I'm intrigued just because of this one.
Yeah.
Do you prefer the free drinks you get in the casino or the professional cocktails when you go to one of these bars?
Mate, that's for me. You know me very well. It's going to be professional cocktails.
I love seeing that on your Instagram, bro. It's like all this smoke
like that cruise I went to last month. Did you see that one? The Celestial. That was crazy. Never seen anything like it, bro. There was like cocktails coming out on these little like what are they called? What's that? You know, like the floating carpet sort of thing, Some of the stuff they were doing is just out of this world. If you want to check it out, go on my Instagram at StevieJUK, click on December folder at the top and have a look through there. Crazy stuff. Really cool. Anyway, so where was we?
I'll let you do the last two for me.
Okay, high roller or stratosphere?
I like the high roller.
High roller, just context, guys, it's a bit like the London Eye. So the high roller is like the London Eye. Stratosphere is one of the tallest buildings, if not the tallest building in Vegas. Is that right?
I'd have to check that. You're giving me a bit of a stat challenge now, but obviously it's the Needle replica of Seattle. But so
is that what it was?
That's what stratosphere is.
Just for those that don't know, that's what the high roller and the stratosphere. So you'd go high roller,
high roller. I love the fact that you can bring your own drinks in and that. Like some of the stratosphere, they've got the restaurant on the top and they've got all the rides and stuff. It's just, I don't know. I do like going on a bit of a ride, you know what I mean?
I've always bottled it when I've gone.
This is what I'm saying.
I like the restaurant of the world, like they call it.
Yeah,
the
restaurant
rotates around. That's pretty cool.
I like the high roller. Maybe it's just a preference.
But the high roller is class. And do you know they've got so you can, if you're in a big group, you can reserve the pods, and they've got their own bar.
Yeah,
and you can have like your own. Yeah, you can have. We've booked those out quite a few times actually, and you've got your own waitresses and bartenders and stuff behind there as well. So that's pretty cool. And Bellagio fountains or Mirage Volcano? Well, the Mirage Volcano's gone now.
I know.
So it's that's opening as the Hard Rock, isn't it? So that's
but I thought in terms of just the 2 free shows that are on the strip, I mean, it's got to be Bellagio fountains.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
I love the Mirage. You know what I mean? And the Volcano's cool, but at the same time, I think Bellagio fountains takes the wings. Well, you see it in the night and the day.
Yeah. Well, now it's going to be instead of the Mirage Volcano, it's just a massive guitar there.
Yeah, I know.
So that's like...
Do they have one in Miami? I swear there's a Hard Rock.
Yeah, that's their thing. Yeah, that's the thing with Hard Rock hotels. They tend to have the big guitars out the front.
Right.
So, which is pretty cool. So where are we? And how long we got left, Brunty, man?
Story time, I think.
We'll be all right.
We've got time, yeah. I mean, there are so many. I mean, thank you ever so much, everybody that submitted a story. And but
these aren't real, by the way, guys. These are just what we brought in
motion
for effect.
Picture only, it says on there. Before everyone
don't think we're trying to stunt and we're thinking we're big ballers, because we're not.
But I thought, we'll see what the feedback's like. But I thought a nice little, something different for our setup.
Yeah, no, I like it,
more stuff coming as well. We've got a few other little bits that we're going to put on the wall and stuff.
Yeah. Right. So what are we thinking? Story time? My favourite part of the pod. Don't forget, guys, if you're watching this and you've been to Vegas, or you know someone who has been to Vegas and they've got some great stories, please feel free to send them in to us via email, on social media. If you want to remain anonymous, you could even comment them on the video. It's entirely up to you. There's, all the links are in the bio. So
just for
in the description. Sorry.
Yes, sorry. Yeah. Just as a little bit extra on top of that, make sure that if it's a story, that if you are giving it to us in written form, if you're sending it in a voice note or anything like that, try and obviously keep it short, because if you give us a 5-minute voice note or a big long paragraph, it's going to be very difficult for us to convey the story the same way, and also to keep you all engaged.
Exactly. Speaking of voice notes, Brunty, what's that one you had the other day come through? Are we going to try and give that a go, or is that too long?
It's long, but I have a feeling I might do it for next pod, because we have got so many stories that people want to give out. So I'll tell you what, we'll kick off with one of the ones I'm intrigued by. What's this Drai's story with the 40 girls deep?
Oh no, my missus is going to kill me for this one, but I'm going to have to share it with you guys because it's just legendary, man. I think it was quite funny at the time. So yeah, again, this was in the early days. I think I've probably been operating for a couple of years, and one of the guys at Drace hit me up. He was like, Steve, we're struggling for girls for this event. Like, can you help us out some way? Like, we really appreciate it. So I thought, let me see what I can do. Yeah. So I've gone in, I spoke to a few of the guys we're working with, sent a few posts out, did a few WhatsApp messages and groups as you do. And yeah, I was getting a bit of feedback, but you know what it's like, you get feedback and you think, are they really going to turn up and are they going to be on time and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I was speaking to various different groups. I had my missus, she was on the case. I can't even remember if she was there at that time, but either way, yeah, so I've hit them up. I said, right, meet me at the Drace Valet. Yeah, I think it was like a Friday, or it might have even been a Thursday pool event. Yeah. So I was like, right, meet me here at this time on this day, and we'll facilitate the whole party, free drinks, everything else. So I thought in my head, right, if we can get 10 girls down there for them, then happy days. So yeah, like on the morning of the event, I woke up thinking, all right, this will be cool. That we've managed to get a bungalow, nice area and that. Rolled up, there's about 40 birds there. And I'm thinking, shit, this is obviously going quite well. They're going to love me for this, yeah? So then, but the reason I'm laughing is because I was just like rounding them up like some sort of cattle, yeah? Obviously it worked. Like it was, and trying to like control. I mean, it's bad enough trying to like look after 5 or 10 girls because you know what girls can be like, you know what I mean? They're just so into different things and asking local questions under the sun. Yeah. So I've just said to these girls, right, ladies, follow me. So I've just bowled through the Cromwell, which is where Drace is, the Cromwell Hotel. Yeah. And like I've got this like army of birds behind me. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm coming up now. He's like, oh, well done, Steve. Yeah, we're looking forward to it, man. And he was like, how many you got? I said, mate, I don't even know. I ain't got a clue. He goes, what? And I said, just sit tight. I'll be there in about 30 seconds. But just like, be ready for us. Got to the door, he's like, shit. He goes, I have to give you another bungalow on top of that, or maybe another one on top of that. So then, that was a class day, man. I've got some videos and pictures of that we could possibly put up on the screen. But yeah, I remember we took some photos, I've got some videos. It's me just in the front like Hugh Hefner, all these birds behind me. I was just like that, like at that time I was thinking, yeah, this is me, man. This is where I've got to be. This is how I've got to be operating. And then, obviously all my mates from back home and messaged me saying, no way, it was just you and that many girls, bro. I was like, yeah, this is what we do, son. They're like, mate, you're fucking living the dream, bro. But yeah, that was a great story and obviously put us in a good books with Drace moving forward.
I actually do have a bit of a story off the back of that. I mean, this was before, obviously, I knew of your company, but and I think it's all long gone now, but you know SLS had a nightclub called Foxtail?
Yeah, I do. I remember going there,
Yeah, so I think it's the Sahara now, like SLS.
Yeah, changed. It was down towards where the Stratosphere is, down that end. Like more towards just past where Fontainebleau is now. Yeah. But yeah, it was more down, that way.
So yeah, we'd gone to that club and the manager there said, oh, we can get you a table if you want. And this is, again, very early days. It was like my second time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm not too sure, this, that, and the other. But I think it was, for the 4 of us, it was maybe like $400 something each. And we were just like, it's the first time we're ever going to do this. Why not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clearly wasn't my first and wasn't my last, but...
You got the Vegas bug, didn't you, remember?
Oh, exactly, mate, yeah. Like I said, it's an expensive
Never
hobby,
look back.
But I love it. So... got into the club, got to the table. Obviously, they say what bottles you want, this, that, and the other, and you got yourself a waitress. The manager then comes over to me and he goes, you know, how are you guys doing, this, that, and the other? Would you like some girls? We can see that there's 4 lads of you here. Would you like some girls in that?
Yeah.
And he told me about what they do. So he brought like a couple of girls in from the queue. He says that what they do is that they go around the queue and they say, look, we've got 4 lads on a table. Rather than you girls paying general admission to get in or you standing here, because usually girls get in free. Yeah. It's a whole other topic. But he said, you know, there's 4 lads there. you can go and have a drink, have a good time. If you like their vibe, stay. If not, you got on in and you had to skip the queue. Yeah. So he just then brought all these, you know what I mean, these girls to our table.
That's what we do, Brunt.
This is what that's what I'm saying.
It's obviously we don't. That's not an in-house thing, but it's still a thing now, and they're known as guy girls.
Oh, is it?
I mean, they're not like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like they're guy girls in the sense of they deal with the girls in the venue, so they'll scout girls that possibly walking around on the dance floor and whatever else, and basically be the contact between bringing them to the tables.
Yeah, like I say, it's nowhere near for your story, but I just thought that was kind of similar sort of on that.
No, it's cool, man. It's one of those things you don't expect it. Like you go to a lot of places and it's not really a thing, but in Vegas it's quite big.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is because I think a lot of the venues want girls to come over and just finish all the drink, and then that means they've got to order more.
Yeah, this is it. That's the other thing as well. I've got another story.
You've got to have your wits about you. Yeah, but that's what I mean. A lot of our clients, we give them the lowdown and we fill them in on that. So, and that's another reason why, you know, to watch the podcast, because you pick up little gems like that to watch out for.
I do have another story, and this was actually when I did use you guys, and obviously you have to just be having your wits about you in terms of girls and alcohol. But we've got so many stories, so many episodes to get through that we want to save some gems.
100%, mate. Yeah.
Okay, next story then.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are so many, and I really do appreciate it, guys. But I'm going to go for another one of your ones again.
I think we're going to have to pick, like each week, we'll probably have to pick sort of like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to feature, which like, you know, the best ones.
I'm just going to say the words Wet Republic and Liverpool to you.
Oh, man, yeah, what a day that was. Yeah, so the reason you said Liverpool is because we was looking after a group from Liverpool. Like these guys come over, big spender guys, and they were going wild in Wet Republic. So we took them in. I actually spent a day with them there, and so we'd all just, you know, we plotted up, we're all having a good time, we're all drinking, having a laugh and whatever. And then after probably about an hour or so, one of the guys just disappears. Yeah. Okay. And so we're looking around, we're thinking like, where is he? Like, what's like his stuff's here? Like his flip-flops are there. All of his bag, all of his stuff, all his driving, like everything is still here. His cash, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So we're thinking he's got to be in here, but we can't find him. Like, is he in the pool? So we're looking in the pool. We're going in there trying to find him. Anyway, nowhere to be seen. Yeah. And then we thought, he'll turn up. He's probably in the toilet with a bird or something, or he's gone in there. Like, who knows? Yeah, he's got to be somewhere. He ain't gonna be far. Yeah. So we just carried on partying. Another hour goes past. He's still not turned up. Another hour past, and then it's getting to the point where, hang about, like, it's closing soon. Yeah. Yeah. Like, what's going on? So we just thought to ourselves, he must have just gone back with a bird or something. But and he's got, because where he's so like pissed, he's probably just not even cared about his footwear and just walked out with her, sort of thing.
Yeah, just sort of thought, they'll take care of that. It's fine.
So then, and then obviously I took the guys out later that night. So they did a double header that day. So they did Wet Republic. I think it was Omnia.
So they did the pool party in the day and went straight to the night.
Yeah, they went straight flat out. But that guy was he'd still not surfaced. And we was thinking, we've got all his stuff. We've got his phone and everything. So like, he's got to come back to the room at some point. Wow. Anyway, we went out on the night out. The boys were quite, they thought, he's a bit of a boy, so he's probably just there. He might have passed out, gone to sleep, whatever. Anyway, it transpired the next day. So we woke up and everyone's like, I phoned them. I said, boys, you seen your pal? Like, is he surfaced yet? And they're like, nah, Steve, we don't know what's going on, mate. Like, we've not seen him. We're getting a bit worried now because he's not messaged us or nothing. So they were getting a bit worried and we started phoning around. Like, obviously, we was thinking, the worst. Was thinking, is he gone there? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Anyway, after probably making about 10, 15 phone calls, the guys found out that he'd been taken out of Wet Republic on a stretcher that we didn't see. He'd passed out and he got rushed to hospital, not just for like hydration, but I think because he'd had so much to drink and he couldn't handle it in the heat and stuff, he was getting his stomach pumped and everything else. So he was actually in hospital. Yeah. And none, like, beknown to us, we didn't know, do you know what I mean? We didn't know where he was or whatever, and we didn't see him getting carried out. And so anyway, cut like long story short, he came out later that night, the next day from hospital, and then he carried on partying for the rest of the trip. It happens though, bro. This is what happens in Vegas. Sometimes, like, you know, you can just. But we were really worried. Like, we started thinking something bad had happened. Like, he'd been kidnapped or whatever.
This is what I mean. Some of these stories have been sent in. There's a couple of audience members who they've had stories like that. But like I say, that I'm gonna have to try. It
gets worrying, man. But I tell you what. Speaking of Liverpool, shout out to Jordan and Ryan Hardy, actually played for Plymouth Argyle. They just beat Liverpool, didn't they? In the FA Cup. They just sent Liverpool out, and they're clients of ours. They've been clients of ours for quite a few years now. They play for Plymouth, but Jordan used to play for Chelsea in the early days, and we took care of his stag do and stuff like that. So big up to Jordan, big up to Ryan and all the Plymouth guys.
Nice, shout out to them
for what you would call, what do they call it when you beat it's like a giant killer, isn't it? It's like they call it the giant killers.
Yeah.
So it's mad, knocking out Liverpool FC, man. That's a big achievement. So yeah, boys, fair play.
Cool. The last one then, I want to know also. It's another one of your stories. I'll keep going to your stories because I just want to know all of them.
You know what? Because I've got so many, bro. It's like, to be fair, I've forgotten a lot of them, but the more we talk, the more it will refresh my memory.
Back to you, This is what I've had to do. I've had to sort of go back and be like, oh, it was a bit blurry that night, but see what I can remember for some of my stories. But so one of those that I wanted to see was, what's this that you hung out with a group and you basically like stayed out the whole time with no sleep?
Yeah, well, to be honest, mate, that's happened quite a few times. But the first time that happened, this was probably, this was the first year. This was the first year when I was still finding our feet and whatever.
So this is the early days.
This is the early days again. Not to say that there's not been other stories more recent, but I don't tend to get involved in a party as much as what I did in the early days. So obviously there's a lot more stories for that. Really what happened is they landed, and obviously there was a big build up before they landed. I was talking to them pretty much every day, and we were like saying about this and was getting buzzing. So I thought, I'll go and have a drink with them when they land. Do you know what I mean?
No harm, right?
I think we collected remaining balances and stuff like that. So I said to my missus, I'm going to go and meet these guys. I'm going to go and meet them and have a drink and stuff. And I'll see you like in a few hours sort of thing. So obviously that didn't happen. No, we've gone there and then we started drinking. One thing led to the next. We're out that night. So we've gone to, I think it was Bank actually, and the Bellagio. It's closed now. I think it's reopening soon, the Bank, which is a little bit further down from where Hyde used to be in Mayfair Suffolk Club. So we've gone in there, had a great night, gone back to theirs for the after party. So really, I should have gone home. Like, being a decent host, you go home and you're making sure everything's sorted out. So I didn't even go home. Literally stayed at theirs, and before you know it, the sun's rising. The birds are tweeting, and we're ready to roll again. So then. And then we went to Encore Beach Club the next day. So it was none of us slept. We were just up. I think there was probably about 12 or 15 of those guys in their group. So I just basically stayed with them. And then we just went straight. So usually how it works is like we go in and set up the tables and whatever, or one of our hosts meet them outside. But literally,
I've done it, so I know the process.
But in that case, literally, we just decided, it got to about 11 o'clock, was saying midday. I was just like, right guys, let's roll. And we just bowled in, all of us straight there, like all hanging, sunglasses on, like, and then I just remember my missus like coming into the Encore Beach Club, like storming in, like, where have you been? What are you doing? And all the lads were like, no, he's been with us, honestly, just go easy, like, just take that, he's cool, don't worry. And I'm meant to be doing that for them sort of thing. And so it was like that in the early days, man. Shout out to Marlon and all the boys from Cambridge. Nice. That was their group. Yeah.
But I was going to say, it does get like that because, like I say, I've done some hosting for you, and when you build a bit of a rapport with these guys, all of a sudden, I remember looking after them at daylight, and then stay and have a beer, Brunty, blah blah blah, and you have a beer, and then you're just sitting on the daybed chatting and stuff with them, and they're talking about their life, their business, their whatever. And then just one of them, I've bought some shots. And I'm like, you've got a bottle like here. And he's like, we wanted some tequila. And I'm like, have a shot, Brunty, have a shot. And I'm
Yeah, you just got to get involved. But that's the thing. Do you know what? And that's another thing about like this business and how things have moved on. It's like, yeah, I mean, the monetary side of things, like profit and making money and whatever, is great.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, you're delivering these once in a lifetime trips for a lot of clients. But then a lot of these clients turn into your friends.
Exactly.
Because it's just, you know, because like I said earlier in the pod about trust and that, and, you know, people booking and delivering what you told them you're going to deliver.
Yeah.
It's like when that happens, people naturally like bond over that, because there's a lot of moving parts in Vegas and a lot of things that can go wrong. So once you've delivered in that, especially if it's like a stag doing, which is like a once in a lifetime thing, or a hen do, or someone's 30th or 40th birthday, it's like, you know, when you deliver and you set things up for them how you told them it was going to be, it's like, yeah, you end up building friendships off the back of that, because it's a trust and loyalty thing.
You've created that memory for them, and you've given them the best experience that they could, you know, beyond their imagination. So, and like I say, I've been using you for years as a client, and obviously come on board to the business anyway. But the fact that the amount of times that I'd used you, that we'd had such a great time anyway, is just a testimonial in itself. The fact that I was like, well, it's just so good. We just can't get this anywhere else. So
so that's I think that's what you're right. And that's like the beauty of the business as well. Like you can go into other, segments of the market and other industries and stuff like that. But with this one, because it's so, you know, like, you know, people don't, majority of people don't tend to go Vegas every year like we do. They tend to do it once in a blue moon, and it's like a one-off thing. Yeah. So you want to make sure that their one-off time is the best you can make it for them. So there's a lot of like rewards and stuff that go with it. And it's like, you get a sense of like, what's the word for it? You know, like you get not personal development, but there's a lot of gratification in delivering these. You get what I mean? Yeah. And that's a big part of it. And that's, you know, why I've kept in the game, because you can't beat that feeling. Once 100%. You sorted out a trip for someone like that, and they go back to tell their friends and family and say, oh, this person recommended you guys off that. And man, that's the beauty of it, bro.
It is. It's beautiful.
So it's not even about the money. Like the money just obviously follows, because if you deliver a good service, then all of that side of it just, you know,
exactly.
If you look, what they say is, if you focus on the money, you don't get it. But if you focus on the process and the service and, you know, the trust and loyalty side of things, then the other side of it just follows.
100%. The passion is there, and the fact that it's been going for this long, you know, we'll continue to keep doing what we're doing and making sure everyone has a great time. Then everyone's just going to keep thinking what a great memory that was for their birthday, stag do or hen do. But
that's it,
bro. I think we're pretty much wrapped up on this episode.
Yeah,
so we're just going
to
quickly
on that one.
Touch up again. I don't think I'd mentioned it at the beginning part of this episode, but giveaway for all of you who have actually managed to stay to the end, because I know the stories is a big component that everyone loves to hear.
It has dragged on a lot, isn't it, this one? But it's all good. Like, if you made it to the end, thank you and congratulations. Because we can't, especially me, I can roll on and talk for forever. So it's, you know, but obviously we're in whatever episode this is. Yeah. And obviously the more we do it, the better it will be, hopefully. Exactly. And obviously with your help as well, guys, sending in your stories and, you know, getting feedback.
100%. Yeah. So our giveaway is, we mentioned it on a couple episodes ago, but we'll obviously mention it again now. So it's 4 nights.
Yeah, we're going to do a 4-night break, flights and hotels paid for, and a bit of spending money and an itinerary planned by us. So you'll get like 2 pool parties, 2 nightclubs, a gun range, and a helicopter tour over the Las Vegas Strip. So that is, in a nutshell, the giveaway. Yep.
And what do people need to do to enter?
To enter, really, you just got to like and subscribe, follow us on social media. And comment on the post when it gets released.
Yeah. So send us a screenshot that you actually have subscribed and things like that. But
that'll be part of it as well. And then obviously, I think we'll do probably tag 2 or 3 friends, or maybe even just tag the person you'd take with you. Yes. That might be a way to tag the person. But, you know, if you've got more than one person you would possibly take, then tag them in as well.
Cool.
So yeah.
Last little bit then, like I said, if you are going to be booking through VIP Vegas for all of your VIP all your VIP tables, all your pool parties and your nightclubs and stuff like that. Obviously the add-ons with all your helicopters, your gun ranges, limos and stuff. Make sure that you use the discount code. So it's VegasPod10. We'll put it obviously in the description, as I said earlier on in the episode.
Yeah.
And again, social medias, where can everybody find us, Steve?
Yeah, so Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X at VIP Vegas UK. So yeah, shout us on there. And then obviously the website, www.vipvegasuk.com. And yeah, mate, I think that's about it, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. Make sure you follow obviously the VIP Vegas podcast one that's on Instagram and all the other social medias.
Yeah.
And my one's the personal if you want to. As a host, it's just Brunty_Vegas on all socials.
Yeah, at Stevie J UK. And we've got the Vegas pod, which is at VIP Vegas Pod.
Yes.
Yeah, so
cool.
Give that a follow as well if you can, guys. Much appreciated.
Nice one. Cool. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for listening to the VIP Vegas podcast. And yeah.
Nice one, guys. See you on the next one. Go easy.